Three processes are there, P1, P2, P3, all are arriving at time 0 with execution time 5 and 10 respectively. They have given some CPU, IO and CPU burst for each process. Now they have given that if OS uses shortest compute time scheduling, then P2 completes at what time? So first of all, few lines I want to add in the question, that if there is a tie, then the tie will be broken by process ID. That means the process with smaller ID number will be scheduled first. And one more thing I want to add is input output operation of any process can be overlapped with input output operation of another process. So IO operations can be done in parallel. So first of all, we will see what is the time a particular process will be spending. So P1, P2 and P3 processes are spending first few seconds in CPU. Then after that IO, then again some time in CPU. So they have given time 40%, 20% and 40% of 5 time unit for P1. So it will be 2 time unit for CPU, 1 time unit for IO, then again 2 time units for CPU. If I'll divide 8 for process P2 into 50, 25, 25, then it will be 4, 2 and 2. So it should be 4, 2 and 2. And for P3, 30, 30, 40, that means 3 and 4 time units will be having. Now we will go with the Gantt chart. So in the Gantt chart, all the processes have been arrived at time 0. So at time 0, when we will see the processes P1, P2 and P3, all three are having initial CPU 2, 4 and 3. That means P1 will be scheduled first and it will execute up to 2 time unit. So P1 will be executed. So this CPU time I have cancelled. Now you just see P1 will be busy up to third time unit in my timeline, just because it is requiring IO for 1 time unit. After that, we can see that among P2 and P3, P3 is having less remaining time, 3. So P3 will be executed for 1 time unit, that is up to 3. And after that, we can see that P1 will be completing its IO, then it will be available in the ready queue. So in the ready queue, again P1, P2, P3 all are there. So P3's remaining time is 2. P2's remaining time is 4. P1's remaining time, so P1 has completed this one also. So I have cancelled this, and P1's remaining time is 2. P3's also remaining time is 2, and tie will be broken by the lesser ID, given the preference to the lesser ID process. So P1 will be given to the CPU and P1 will execute up to 5 time unit. So P1 will be completely executed after that. So I have cancelled this P1 from here. Now after that, P3 will get again CPU and it will execute up to 7. So P3 will execute and this particular 2 will be cancelled. Now P3 will be busy up to 10, 7 plus 3, just because it requires 3 time unit for IO. So right now only P2 is there for execution. So P2 will start its execution for next 3 clock cycles or 3 time units. For 3 time units means 7 to 10, and P2 will be remaining 1 only. So P2 will execute completely up to 11, completely executed. After that, up to 13, P2 will be busy. So from 11 onwards, we can schedule P3, just because P3 has completed its all 3 units of IO up to 10, and from 11 it is waiting or it will be scheduled. So P3 will be scheduled after 11. When P3 will execute 2 time cycles up to 13, we can say that remaining time for P3 will be 2, and remaining time for P2 will also be 2, just because P2 will go for IO from 11 to 13 and it will execute completely its 2 time units of IO. So P2 and P3 both are available with CPU time remaining 2 and 2. So again P2 will be given to the CPU first up to 15, and after that P3 will be given to the CPU up to 17, and at the end both will be ended. So the question they have asked is when P2 completes. So the answer is equal to 15.